So our illustrious president has just announced his dystopian hellscape budget, as some are calling it. Trump proposes slashing non-defense spending by 22.6%. But guess what he increases money to? I bet you can guess. The Pentagon. So here's Jeff Stein just broke down some of the high points. 1 trillion in military spending, 13% jump. 43 billion increase to Department of Homeland Security to get rid of those damn brown people. We got to make room for the Afrikaner emerald miner folks.
Right.
More charter school money. Cuts. 4 billion to low income home energy assistance program. Buy grandma's sweater, folks.
Right.
While they're still on the shelves. 3.5 billion to CDC. 18 billion to National Institute of Health, 670 million to program management at Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. See, this is what they're going to do. They know that politically they can't really cut Medicare in particular and Medicaid. Too many MAGA people have it. They're going to break the management of it to the point that it drops claims. Because they're going to make it so difficult to get. $2.5 billion cut to EPA's Clean and Drinking Water Loan Fund. Hope they replaced all those pipes in Flint. $646 million cut to FEMA. Administration says non-disaster programs. Again, they're breaking the ability to administrate the program where it's politically unpopular to cut the program directly. $650 million cut to shelter and services programs. What could go wrong? The Fiscal Blueprint aims to reduce discretionary non-defense spending, which doesn't include programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, by $163 billion from this year. That would bring discretionary non-defense spending to its lowest level since 2017, according to the White House. For national security spending, Trump will ask for a record $1.01 trillion, a 13% increase. So by the numbers, percentage cuts from some of these different government agencies and programs, state and international programs, that's the State Department, 84%. Wonder what little Marco thinks about that. National Science Foundation, 56%. The EPA, 54%. Goddamn, don't need no oxygen. We don't need no air. We don't need none of that goddamn air. Only pussies breathe air. Housing and urban development, 44%. Labor, I am assuming that includes the NLRB, 35%. I could be wrong. Small Business Administration, 33%. It's so weird for a country and a party that's so into the entrepreneurial spirit and supporting businesses. Why would you cut the SBA? The SBA gives loans to small businesses. Does it? Okay. Department of the Interior, 30%, and they're planning on cutting quite a lot of money from the Parks Department as part of that. Health and Human Services, 26%, although they are talking about giving RFK $500 million for his MAHA initiatives. NASA, 24%. Although they are giving, I think it was $7 billion for moon exploration and $1 billion for Mars exploration. I wonder whose idea that was.
Yeah.
Treasury, 19%. Agriculture, 18%. Commerce, 17%. Education, 15%. Don't need no goddamn education. Pink Floyd said it. Justice, 8%. I'd say we're cutting justice by more than that. Social Security, 0. So who gains? The Energy Department gets 3% more. Veterans Affairs, 4%. Transportation, 6%, which includes hiring more air traffic controllers, which we desperately need. This was a story I was looking at. We just couldn't squeeze it in. They're cutting flights at Newark International Airport now because they don't have enough flight controllers and the technology can't handle it. You're not talking about a small regional airport. You're talking about a major, essentially, even though it's in New Jersey, it's a New York international hub, and they cannot manage the flights that they have. Pretty scary. Defense Department plus 13. Homeland Security, the big winner, 65%. Got to get all those brown people out of here. So here, if you look at where the largest increases are, Department of Defense, 113.3 billion.
Wow.
Homeland Security, 43.8 billion. Veterans Affairs, 3.3 billion. Okay, so in the State Department, the America First Opportunity Fund actually gets an increase, whatever that is. I honestly don't know. 2.9 billion. And the Department of, I can't even see that. What does that say? Can you see that?
Department of Energy?
No, under the State Department. Does that say?
Oh,
what does that say?
Oh no, Oversight Finance Corporation.
Okay, again, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So the biggest cut, State Department, man. Little Marco living down to his name there. Cut in the Department of Energy. And you know part of what they're cutting? They're cutting funding for cleaning up nuclear sites. Nice.
Wow.
HHS and HUD, massive cuts to Section 8 vouchers. We'll get into that. So what's in Department of Defense? 113 billion in top line spending, including specific priorities like the F-47 fighter, a Golden Dome for America. I think they meant big, beautiful Golden Dome. Missile defense shield and expanded shipbuilding capacity. So we're fighting a lot of wars on the sea these days. Homeland Security, a $43.8 billion top line, includes funding for Trump's proposed mass removal of undocumented immigrants, plus southern border wall construction, as well as preparations for the 2026 World Cup and 2028 Olympics. I mean, how many of these people are going to wind up getting a cavity search trying to come here for those events? Veterans. The budget includes 3.3 billion in new funding for Veterans Affairs to expand medical care, including efforts to reduce homelessness among veterans. Oh, well, I think we can all get behind that. What's out? The NIH gets an $18 billion cut in the budget, with the proposal alleging it has broken the trust of the American people and failed to properly identify the origins of the COVID-19 virus. I'd have to, guilty is charged. I'd have to know the details of what they're cutting to really comment.
But didn't you put your guy in charge there? Like, you put Jay Bhattacharya in charge of the place
That's
now.
true.
So don't you think
That's
you'd
true.
kind of let that go in the sense that now he's overseeing it? Like, he's not a guilty party to that. So if he's the head of the agency, why would you penalize him? Seems kind of fucked up to me.
I mean, but we don't know what they're cutting exactly. With some of these things, we have more detail. Climate. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's cutting Marco's State Department 85 freaking percent. Climate. Did he just give him that job as a humiliation ritual? Is that what's going on there? Climate. Trump's proposal cancels more than 15 billion in infrastructure investment and Jobs Act funds earmarked for renewable energy and carbon dioxide removal programs. Also cut 4.5 billion in Title I education assistance, which is money meant for poorer school districts. They don't need education to go to CCOT.
Right.
Zoom in. Housing advocates were stunned by a nearly $27 billion cut to housing assistance for low-income Americans. Those cuts come after huge spikes in rents coming out of the pandemic. Their impact will be inhumane and devastating, said Rachel Fee, executive director of the New York Housing Conference, in a statement. This plan will drive more people into homelessness. Another hit, trimming 4 billion by eliminating the low income home energy assistance program, or LIHEAP, which assists poor people in paying for heat in the winter and cooling in the summer. It is critical in states with harsh winters. Both senators from Maine have pushed for it. The White House says it duplicates state programs. Instead of providing help with energy bills, low income individuals will be supported, quote, through energy dominance,
Yeah.
lower prices, and an America First economic platform, the budget document says. Now, this next part really shows you what dirty scumbags these guys are. This is very Doge. Oh, well, there's fraud. We found fraud because there are 250-year-olds getting the Social Security. An administration official pointed to a 2010 GAO audit that found 9% of households receiving benefits contained invalid identity information, some likely due to simple errors. The report says its recommended security fixes had been implemented. This is how deep they had to dig to find some kind of premise of fraud that people are getting it or shouldn't be getting it. There was a 2010 report that found a lot of this the identity information was incorrect, but they found it was probably a simple mistake, and they say they fixed it. This is 15 years ago, and they're saying this is a justification for taking this action. Quote, seniors and low income people also will not go without utilities, as states have their own policies to help with utilities, including severe weather no disconnection policies, lessening the need for this program at a federal level, an administration official tells Axios in an email. Yeah, okay. So some states have a policy that if there's extreme weather, they can't cut it off, but you still owe that money and they can cut it off later. It's
Right.
just absolute BS. Like what? Nobody would pay their bill if that was the case. Nobody would pay their bill. Hey, they're not allowed to cut it off. Of course they're allowed to cut it off. Yeah, they might not be able to cut it off if it's bitterly cold outside. But I do have good news. I do have good news. Donald Trump's got a new Air Force One. He got impatient with Boeing, which has already gotten 1.9 billion. And so we're spending $400 million for Donald Trump to have a new Air Force One. He doesn't like the old one. It's so tacky. So he got himself a new one. $400 million, man. $400 million. Look at it. He's having it
Wow.
all. He's having it all decked out. Wow. Man, wait, old people don't need heat. They don't
Right.
need heat. Come on, man. Look at that. Look at that. Hmm. Kids don't need education. Oh, we have golden staircases to install in the Qatari plane we just bought.
Yeah.
who,
Wow.
who needs education? And once again, we will come back to these are the tax cuts that he wants. This will cost around 10 trillion, really, over a 10-year span, almost. And who gets most of that? Who gets most of that? 68% goes to the richest 20%. 17% goes to the next 20%, what you might call the upper middle class. If you're in the middle class, 10%. If you're below that, forget about it. If you're poor, poorest 20%, you get 1% of that money. But hey, man, Trump's got that nice plane. He's got that nice plane. So, making America great again, one tacky interior at a time.
Yep. And don't forget the $150 billion in Doge savings, down from 4 trillion, then cut to 2 trillion. And the final number of Doge savings ends up being 150 billion, which is what they say. And they have a track record of just abject
Of
lies.
just
So it's
lying.
probably
Yeah.
less than that, probably much less
Yeah.
than that. But if we take that at face value and say that Doge cut $150 billion, the Pentagon and the DHS increases cancel that out all by themselves. And then they're cutting, the shit that people need. $113 billion added to the Pentagon budget. Remember, Hegseth braced for Pentagon cuts. Oh, Elon tweeting,
Oh yeah.
interesting.
Oh
Pentagon
yeah.
can't pass an audit.
And,
$113 billion.
and you notice Doge never went over there. Never
No,
went
of
over there.
course.
They failed 7 audits.
Yeah,
7
exactly.
audits.
As a percentage of its existing budget, the DHS add-ons were the highest. But in terms of gross, yep, Department of Defense, once again, the big winner. In terms of raw numbers, $113 billion increase. So all this noise about how they're going to cut the Pentagon, of course, that was never going to happen. No one in America cuts the Pentagon budget, much less fascists whose main pitch to voters is that we're going to deport immigrants, lock people in jail, and kill people around the world. I mean,
Yep.
the
Yep.
ethos of this administration is very much might makes right explicitly. And what better way to project might than to increase the military budget, which of course they were going to do. And here you go.
Well, if you look at this budget, this is, the scene in the movie where the soldiers turn on the population.
Right.
Population that thought the soldiers were on their side all of a sudden start getting gunned down.
Right.
That's the moment in the movie that we're arriving at, folks, because if you look at this budget, it is a blueprint for disempowering, impoverishing, and frankly, killing off the population and increasing the police budget and increasing the militarization of the society so that you can viciously suppress
The unrest.
whatever protests and unrest come out of those cuts.
Yeah, and not just protests, but a lot of just social chaos comes
Right.
out of that.
Right.
And so
Right.
no, absolutely. That's 100% what that is. No doubt about that.
Please clap.